Hi, everyone. My name is Caroline Cory. I am the writer,
Woohoo!
director, producer of a new film called Superhuman, The Invisible Made Visible. The film just came out. It's incredible, of course. It's my movie. No, really, it is about the power of the mind, the power that we have to affect our physical body, our physical health, our physical reality. And so in this film, I wanted to do something a little different. I didn't want to just talk about it. Everybody tells us fitness is good for you, eating well is good for you, the state of your mind is good for you, do meditation, all that stuff. It's almost like we got it. But what I wanted to do in the movie is not just keep saying that. I wanted to show how that is possible. And so I wanted to invite all kinds of scientists and experts and do the experiments live in the film. But also, I wanted to bring just people, just friends, and people that are from different walks of life, but also who have different backgrounds and are in different areas of expertise to just tell us how they feel, how they incorporate their consciousness and their mind in their work. And of course, the first person I thought about, my very, very, very dear friend, drum roll, fitness expert Craig Ramsey. Yay!
Caroline, you're bringing the muscle to the show today.
Woohoo! So fun to see you. So good you're here.
Well, thank you for having me. And I just really appreciate you including me, not only today, but in the movie itself and behind the scenes. You sharing the specifics of what you were looking for talent, and for some of my good friends to be a part of this. It's been quite a journey, and I can't wait to talk to you about it and everyone about it.
That's so awesome. And so I have to say what I love about you. Now, Craig, first of all, for those who don't know, he's an expert in fitness, but also he's a Broadway star. He's an incredible dancer, ballet dancer. I mean, incredible. Everything
What? What do you mean?
I do mean exactly that. And so, and so very talented singer. He does, like I said, Broadway. He trains. He's the fitness expert to the stars. He had his own show as well. So he's really into the arts of expressing. I feel like for you, it's expressing your consciousness through your body, everything that's body. Yeah.
Yes, it's been quite a learning process for me over the years, because combining it with my entertainment background, with my love and passion for fitness, not just for myself, because I feel like I've always had this athleticism and this capability for myself, but more so my passion is for helping others also achieve that and take ownership of that for themselves. So I've always had this intuitive side to me with my training and a sensitivity. And Caroline, thank you so much with your work with OMnium Universe. It's really opened up my universe of understanding where a lot of that comes into play. And I'm still on my journey, and I'm fine tuning it by all means, because a lot of it's so confusing and way over my head, but I'm learning as everyone else is. And I really encourage them to see this movie in particular, because Superhuman really does nail it for what my message is for people that want to better themselves physically and health wise.
Yeah, because I mean, we talked about this, you and I, many times. In fact, we did a mini program where, yes, the fitness, the body is very important, but what is the mind component in all of this? And so,
And how it relates to the physical. So what we did, and we talked about this because you found it so fascinating, that I was promoting interval training. And the benefits of interval training, for people that don't know, is raising your heart rate up but lowering it down. And not only is there a chemical reaction in your body that helps you lose fat more effectively and efficiently, and it also helps your strength and stamina and athleticism because it's more manageable. Then your exercising is, you're able to handle it, and it's not like that militant, in my opinion, very negative and draining fitness experience. So we created meditations that are visual and with sound that help someone relax to lower their heart rate more effectively and proficiently in a short period of time, improving their athleticism.
Yeah, and exactly, because people think like you have to pump, 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 but actually fitness is also lowering your heart rate. In fact, those who do meditation, this is what you're doing. You're lowering your heart rate. And so it's just as healthy. I mean, it's actually the balance of both. And so what we did together with this one program is to incorporate the two. And that component was also meditation and the fitness mixed together, which sounds weird when you like first think about like what meditation, but it
And
works.
at the same time, so what you created was the apps that someone can put on the treadmill or while they're bodybuilding, and in between those sets or those intervals of cardio to lower your heart rate. Those absolutely did. So what would normally take someone 2 minutes to recover, they're able to do in 15 to 20 seconds with your app, which is brilliant. And the amount of physique change that you can do in a short period of time is remarkable. So that's something to definitely revisit and share with people.
I think we need to develop a whole program, because this also speaks to the people who want to incorporate the mind component, you know, who think about fitness like, oh my God, I have to go to the gym and
Right.
pump iron. And it's like, it's not me. But I think when we bring that component, it invites a lot of people who, you know, can, you know, come have a different perspective on fitness, I think.
There has not been one person that has ever hired me for training that didn't need an energetic shift, a consciousness shift of what their relationship is to their body, their exercising, etc. And that's where I come into play, is that's where I work with someone, is to make sure they're clearing the right space for themselves and for the environment that they're working out in, where they're going to get the best benefits and the most confidence, if you will, which every single person deserves.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who are just joining, you guys, I'm here with Craig Ramsay, guru of fitness and physical beauty. And we're talking about the film Superhuman, the invisible made visible, but more importantly, the connection between the mind and the physical body. And so we're right now broadcasting on multiple channels on Facebook and YouTube. And so if you're just tuning in, make sure to write your comments and your questions, which we're going to get to as soon as we get going with this conversation. So I'm super excited. But Craig, go ahead.
Can I just say, I would really love for the viewers today to also share, because this is part of the step that's necessary, share what your goals are. What are your health goals? What are your physique goals? And what do you perceive that's stopping you? Because that's something that even if we can't get to it right now, we can get to it later, but also energetically, we can do that. And we all have the power to help each other shift those things. So yeah, please communicate, comment as much as you can. There's no dumb question, or I might give a couple dumb answers, but please test me out.
Yeah, no, but also I think what's important here is that when you say what are your goals and your challenges, that's exactly what we've been talking about. It's what is the part of your mind that's stopping you or that's not letting you get there. And so that's why I think the combination of the two, people think it's just, of course, training is important, but if you don't feel like it, or you're depressed, or you're discouraged, I mean, how do you even get yourself to the gym or to even do it at home, you know, nowadays? And so that's why, and I want to ask you, Craig, you and I, we've known each other a long time. How do you feel in your personal approach? You mentioned how you're doing that when you're teaching, but how much of the mind and the consciousness do you feel you're incorporating even on a day-to-day basis? Do you feel our conversations, our work have changed something for you? Like, do you approach life differently?
Yes, the short answer is absolutely, but the long answer would be me to start with sharing. I love the human experience. A lot of the people with Omnium Universe, I think it's refreshing for me to come in and I'm like, no, I love waking up and being sore in my body. I love a cup of coffee. I love the anatomy of it. And my initial reasoning for going into fitness was because I love the physical. I love everything about this human life. And but with even, I mean, please, I wrote anatomy series, like an actual book, anatomy of stretching, anatomy of muscle building. So I'm all about the physical. However, there's always been this side of me that knows that there's so much more, and that my physique, which I've graciously had for so many years, or my capabilities of being a contortionist, a professional hockey player, Broadway. I've done a handful, maybe two handfuls of Broadway original shows. And the reason is because the mind connected to it, the manifestations, clearing that path. So there's a lot of things that are in the Superhuman film of yours that address those things, but I had such trouble understanding how I'm getting it, or where I'm getting it from. Is it spirit guides? Is it my client's spirit guides? I simply don't know. And ultimately, I don't know if that matters, which is giving me a lot of comfort, because if I can just connect to that, which Superhuman on all scientific levels does, it proves that you have the power to do that. And every single person, every single one of you has the power to then transfer that into your health, your wellness, and your physique. And you deserve it. In this human form, you deserve to be ego driven and love yourself.
It's so funny you say that, because my crowd, the people who follow
Mhm.
my work, which is consciousness and healing and spirituality, it's the exact opposite of what you said. It's
Mhm.
they understand and they love the spiritual and the mind and the consciousness, and they hate their physical existence. They're like,
Mhm.
there's this resistance of feeling in a physical body, being confined, being limited,
Yeah,
because they're so used to being out there, so they're so used to feeling this expansion. So it's so interesting.
I live with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes. I want to talk to your other half in a second, but yeah, I mean, it's almost like it's the two extremes, and I think
Oh, I
it's
love it.
not. Yeah, and it's like it's not one or the other, because if you're so out there and spiritual and hating the physical experience, but you're here with a body, like what are you gonna do? It's like, so the more you come to terms with it, or the faster, the better, and the other way around. So it's really the marriage of both.
But we're all here on this earth right now, and we're dealing with this 3D experience that I would really love for people to realize. A lot of the issues we have with physical fitness and exercise and athleticism comes from society
Yeah.
placing on us. And it doesn't matter what level you are. I don't care what shape, size, age, disability you have. There, you implement physical activity that is appropriate to you, and that's genius. That's where you're opening up your body and allowing this human condition to complement what your greater power and purpose is.
So I'm putting you on the spot here, but
Yeah.
can you give us like an idea? Okay, I'm somebody who hates working out. No, that's not true. I'm just saying, what if I was?
Mhm.
So, or I don't even know how to get into it. Okay, so I'm already in that state of consciousness of procrastination, of, confusion, but yet I want to have a gorgeous body and just be in good shape. How do you, like, where do you even start? How can you at least shift people in the right direction from the consciousness state to the body state? What's the beginning, exercise
Yeah.
to get you going?
The beginning exercise is to exercise communication and tap into the fact that we are all deserving of that. This is what part of the human condition. Subconsciously, we all want to look good, we all want to feel good, and we all want to experience the benefits that come from that, including a confident body means confident sex. You know, it means confidence in your sleep, in your hormone levels. Like everything is about moving your body. So again, I don't want people to get wrapped up into where they're starting from, but I want them to tap into the necessity to experience this to life's fullest, which means putting it into motion. So then when I'm coming across someone, what I need to do is relate it to the human condition. Now, a lot of your people aren't going to probably relate to my fitness and slots community, which my SciPlay company that has 7 different slot machine apps that have hundreds of slot games that people play, the authentic ones in Vegas. Now that demographic of people, a lot of times they love the indulgence, and they love, you know, basically it's like gaming, which we ridicule kids for, the adult gaming. And so what I do is I take something that is relatable to them, and then I put it into fitness in that world. So then the fitness becomes undercover. So fitness
Mm.
and slots, it's entertaining. You can play this, and before you know it, they're on a treadmill, or they're walking, or they're doing at-home exercises, which I have 50 videos up on fitness and slots. They're executing it because they're positively distracted, and that's okay
Mm.
with the people at different levels of their human experience. Or like my stretch and wine. I do a stretch class and wine tasting at the same time, and it's basically drunk fitness experience. And and what's appealing for people is the fact that something that they take is so you know, inappropriately unhealthy. I researched the minute health benefits of that, and I'm applying it to something that is going to put consciousness of movement and therefore confidence in their life. So then people take my class, they love it, but then guaranteed you for life, every single person that experiences that, when they drink a glass of wine and they're eating, all of a sudden they're crossing their legs over, and they're lifting up from the chest, and they're leaning over, and they're getting in a stretch subconsciously. I get text messages all the time that said, thank you for just introducing me to that and allowing me to have ownership of my movement. It doesn't need to be Barry's Boot Camp or Orange Theory. It needs to be moving through your body with intent, intensity, and purpose, and that's it.
That I love what you just said, because what you're saying is that don't make people feel like, oh, you're doing the wrong thing, or you have to stop doing this, and this, and then you have to start doing something different. I love what you said. It's undercover. It's a positive subliminal thing that is inserted within their current lifestyle. So, which tells us again, so your state of consciousness is still kind of aligned, because you're happy, you're not having to, the first thing, oh, I'm doing something wrong, you know. And
Yeah.
so within that framework, you introduce the positive stimulus, and that's how gradually you kind of correct yourself, like you're saying, the subconscious mind starts to kind of, I love that. This is so cool. What a great idea. So in Superhuman, the film that you're in, it's not the opposite, but I want to say that you have to actually focus on what you want, you know, because so what you're saying is that in the case of fitness, you are allowing the fitness to be kind of introduced in your normal setting, in your normal life, and gradually you kind of get used to it and you embrace it. But what if people want to have something very specific, like I want to create a relationship, I want to create more money, I want like something specific like that, you know, I feel like maybe it's good to be subliminal and introduce it that way. But at one point, I think the intention has to be very clear. You
Yeah.
know, wait, I'm
But it can in
enjoying it.
fitness too. It
Yeah,
can completely be clear.
yeah,
And in fact, Superhuman is so relatable to the fitness industry and to everyone that needs to be healthy, especially during the pandemic.
yeah.
It resonates perfectly, Caroline. You just absolutely mastered that message, that you can set the intent. If you want a 6-pack abs, that does not have to come from me yelling at you for an hour. It can come from conscious walking. It can come from like consistent focused contractions. Doesn't matter if I'm lifting 40 pounds or 5. It's my responsibility to go internal and set my mind to what the outcome's going to be, regardless of what the path is.
Exactly. So that's my point. So we're both kind of saying the same thing. So
Mhm.
the process, whether you introduce it kind of in a subliminal way or doing it this way, the still the common denominator here is that your intention is, I want to get a great body, or I want to, manifest this thing in my life. So the power of intention is still very focused. Even
Yeah.
the way you're doing it is slightly different, which I love.
I
So
love that you do a broad reach with this. I am so proud and happy for you and Omnium Universe to expand, because oftentimes I think we find ourselves preaching to the choir, and this movie really does outreach across the boards. I'm getting text messages from all walks of my life, from the smallest farming community that in Canada that I grew up in, of people seeing me, to New York, to performers, to people, actors that took, remember a few years back, you did an acting focused class for people to really expand their relationship with their work.
yes.
And it just all walks of life, and it's brave. And I'm so happy that you put an element of pulp culture in there, which is bringing in the masses, and the timing of it with the pandemic and people being at home and needing something that empowers them when all around them it seems to be crumbling. Thank you.
Oh no, I mean, thank you for saying that. I feel like this has been the story of my life, as you know.
Mhm.
Since I was a kid, I would have, experiences where I would look at someone, I knew what was wrong with them, what was going to happen to them the next day. I could see on the other side of the wall, a remote viewing, all kinds of stuff. And so, but I think many, many people have these experiences and we just don't know how they happen. We don't know what just happened here. How is it possible that I, kind of see my grandmother after she just passed? What is that about? And so, because that was the story of my life, and so many people relate to, for example, intuition. All of a sudden, you feel something's wrong with your partner, or something's wrong with, your son on the other side of the planet needs you. What is happening here? What are the mechanics? Everybody goes through stuff like that. And
Mhm.
so that's why I wanted to make it very mainstream as much as possible, but also
Mhm.
bring the science, just not
Yeah.
just talk about it, but do these experiments on camera, in the film, to show that when you think, there's a measurable effect. When you focus on a glass of water and you say, I want the pH to change, it changes. It's not crazy. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of what we do in the film. But what was your favorite thing in the film?
I think personally, because Naomi Grossman is such a close friend of mine, and leading up to it, she was basically like trying to get out of me, like I would know what it was, the specific experiment or whatever was going to be. And I'm like, no, Caroline doesn't share any of that with me. This is authentic. Like, you're going to be experiencing this, not me. And so seeing her hesitation and her insecurities going forward, and then when she called me afterwards, it was, she said, wow. And there was like a break of 2 minutes of nothing. And she says, I can't put it into words, and I don't need to. I'm excited for you to see the movie. That was my favorite personal moment. My favorite moment on camera was definitely the Starbucks connection with Rachel, because it was so relatable to the simplicity of being a human, and like for her to tap into that was just so remarkable and relatable. And that's where I think it's fun to play around with this. Like, not everyone they can connect with you and do these experiments, as I know you are offering this type of work. But for average people sitting at home and watching this on Amazon or anywhere else that it's available, they can put it into motion by just tapping into that, connecting and plugging in. If I love to say, it's like plugging into universal consciousness.
Ooh, I love that. And yes, for those who don't know what I'm talking, if you have not watched the film, by the way, it is at superhumanfilm.com. So it's on rental right now. So anybody can get it everywhere, Amazon, iTunes, everywhere. And
Yep.
so what Craig's talking about is we did remote viewing. We did a remote viewing experiment where I would go to a location and somebody else tries to figure out where I am and what I'm doing. So again, for those who don't know, this was actually a serious research and program in the government where they would train soldiers to do that, to see remotely what was going on, to spy on the Russians. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. And so this program ran for 20 years, and I know for a fact the governments are still investigating those types of psi phenomena. Of course, they're going to use it for military purposes. But for us, it was more to demonstrate that your mind is, your consciousness is tapping into the information. So it's not crazy. It's not woo-woo stuff. You know, there is quantum mechanics. There are certain laws that govern these things, and that's what we do in the film. So technically she wasn't supposed to see certain things, and then she ends up like, and she had never ever done anything like this. We train her in the film in 2 hours and she nails it. Like, she kind of like sees everything. So there's that, and then there are other experiments, telekinesis and the blindfolds. What do you think about? So the blindfolds, you guys, basically we show people all over the world who are basically seeing with, blindfolds. When you first look at it, you go, "This is fake. There's no way. They're cheating." But then, of course, we show scientifically that the mask is completely sealed and there's no light. What did you think when you saw that? Were you completely like, impossible?
Oh no, I wanted to blindfold myself and just go through a day. Like I love to jump into all of that, and I don't limit what the possibilities are in this world, and that's what I recommend everyone to do. And I try and reach that message, especially in something that's so superficial like the fitness industry. It's like, if I didn't have that mentality, I wouldn't have been on Broadway. I wouldn't have had, shows and opportunities and travel and all that stuff that opened up to me. And that's what I really encourage others to do too, is open yourself up to this stuff. Watch the film. The film is going to, and I love the hook, like Cory's involved, and Rachel and Naomi and all this, people that have entertained, similar to my fitness stuff. They love the entertainment aspect, and it's reeling them in. So at first it's undercover, if you will, consciousness, awareness. But then once they're in, they're hooked. And I think I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt. Once they're introduced to it, it's hard to get rid of it. Like it just snowballs, right?
Exactly. And so yeah, as you mentioned, we have a few recognizable celebrities in there, but also we have random folks. I mean, we have people from all over, kids, adults doing all kinds of stuff from all over. But it's exactly like, sometimes people need a hook, they need also somebody they look up to, or they see on the screen sometime. So I think that in that sense, people have somebody they can relate to, wherever they're coming from. So yeah. But I feel like I want to ask you, so do you feel like, what is your take on, I understand that you love the physical experience, the physical world, basically. But how do you think the two connect? Because that's really, at the end of the day, the theme of the film of, okay, we have the power, the consciousness has an effect on the body and the physical world. But how do you see it all work? What is reality for you? Like, is this real? Is this dream? Is this virtual? What's going on?
Well, I'm sure you'll play the clip, and my parents are highly disappointed in me that I somehow managed to be the only person to swear on a Caroline Cory film.
Oh
but we talked about the world and is it a simulation and such, and I get very frustrated with the current state of this world and this earth. I really do. I think I'm able to isolate that and enjoy my own experience right here, with being aware of what's on the other side. But if I don't connect to that, I'm lost. What's the purpose? I know other people, like religions and such, they have that. And Dr. Alexander just talked about the power of prayer as well, and putting that out there. So however you look at it, I think people are surviving in their own way. And I guess mine is a little more direct. My relationship, I try and shift things. Why am I going to waste time and revisiting mistakes and character flaws and all of that? I want to shift things immediately in this life. So in that transfers over to even my fitness. If something's not feeling good and I internalize that, and that doesn't mean you're not challenged, because we want to challenge the physical body and we want to exhaust it and muscle fatigue. But I really have to listen to myself and find a quiet place to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like this simplicity, and yet it's so profound. Sometimes we think like we have to be so complicated,
And
to
complicating it can actually mess it up. What
exactly,
I
exactly.
your class that you did for the actors, which is all wrapped up in the superhuman, but it transfers over to absolutely everyone. I grew up with having labeled severe ADHD and learning disabilities, and in a small town and such. And with acting, because I had a lot of, as I said, Broadway and film and TV, I couldn't read out a sentence, a memorized sentence in school, but something shifted where I remember how I said I plug into universal consciousness, but I do that for my craft and my artwork too. So I was able as an actor to memorize monologues and songs and just I'm terrified. And that's why a lot of actors have stage fright, because they truly don't have the confidence that it's all there, but they don't need it here. They need to plug it in to the universal consciousness, and then it just presents itself and it's way bigger than them. Does that make sense?
Of course, that's connecting to source. But what are you talking about when people are listening to you and you say plug into? How do you plug into universal consciousness?
Oh, wow. That's, again, I'm on my journey and there's so much still that I have to learn, which is why that I meditate with OMnium Universe on YouTube and through your website every night. And in fact, I'll recommend this to people is so many people, not one person that's seeing me for training right now isn't waking up at 2 or 3 or 4 in a mass panic with the human condition that we're all going through. And one of your meditations really helps clear that. So I think that doing that work unintentionally, but trying to help it aid in something that is so humanly physical, like sleep, then allows me to instantly go into a calm place and plug in, if that makes sense. So I
Yeah.
don't have to be like, okay, at 8 a.m., I'm going to meditate or I'm going to do this. I find it when I recognize that I'm struggling and I
Mm,
reach out.
yeah. Yeah.
Preventative care, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I love about you is humor. I mean, you just have this natural ability to always put it in a perspective
What
of,
do you mean?
yeah,
What
I
do you,
know, right? Exactly.
what?
So you guys, I just have to show this clip because it's my film. And when you do the edit, you watch every clip over and over and over. So I know it by heart. And even today, every time I watch this clip, I laugh so hard because of you, thanks to you. So, guys, I want to show you that clip now. Like I said, this is a movie about consciousness. There's all kinds of scientists and experiment, all kinds of stuff going on. But there's this one segment where Craig Ramsey is just, you'll just watch and see.
Oh boy. I hope my parents aren't watching this again. I got a call immediately afterwards. Craig.
All right, here we go. One sec.
I do believe we live in a virtual game.
I don't necessarily believe that we live in a simulation.
Yes, I do.
No.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think simulation in the sense that it's like one giant video game.
I don't necessarily believe we live in a computer that somebody else created.
I feel like if that was the case, then there would be like technological glitches in the sky.
When I think about simulations or the Matrix, I believe we do.
We probably thought up this whole construct before we came here and decided we're going to go in and we're going to play this game and here are the rules and we're going to go deep into it and we're going to completely forget that we made this game.
I think we are the ones that are running the show.
I don't know who's running the show, but I can tell you at times I think it's a shit show. Complete shit show.
You
Yes.
see, I mean, it is so funny. So here we were asking how much you have power over reality, or is it a virtual reality? Your answer is so funny. It's like, okay, so who made this whole thing up? What is this reality? How did you come up with it? I mean, it was just spontaneous. We were all cracking up.
I'm speaking for most of the world right now. Like you can analyze it however you want, but truly the feeling of it is just simply that. It does feel like a shit show, and more every single day.
Oh my God.
So yeah.
Especially right now. But you know, the question was also is, do you think we have any say in the conversation? In other words, can we control at least our personal experience, or you're in this virtual illusion where it's a game that someone else has created for you, and so in that sense, no matter what you do, free will or not, it just won't do anything.
Yeah, definitely 100%. I think that we have the power to control the narrative. We can, and because that is our reaction to things. And me being so passionately obsessed with the human condition, again, the ego gets involved all the bloody time. So I have to remove that. And what your work has taught me is detachment. And then the detachment allows me to have communication with people, sharing what my human condition experience is, and no one can take that away from me. So there's so much going on a daily basis that frustrates me, but ultimately, if the way I look at it and the way I communicate it, if I bring it back to, I feel this way, you know, I'm triggered because this is what's going on, and then make light of it too, because even the most serious of situations, we have to lighten our soul, lighten our heart with looking at things with comedy lenses. That's my whole purpose with my fitness stuff.
Exactly. And that's why, and by the way, for those who don't know Craig, you have to go to his Facebook page. Oh my God. He does all these like funny exercises that are a great workout, by the way. But again, you do it with humor and fun. And it's almost like you're laughing at yourself. It's like, what is this? Whatever it is.
I laugh at myself all the time. I catch myself just laughing, and I think I'm so funny, and that's when I'm not funny. Like, so when I'm actually funny, it's great that it pays off, but most of the time, like, I'm just in a humor bubble all to myself. I love to share that, and sometimes it falls just flat on its face, and I find that even funny. So like my YouTube fitness and slots, all of these workouts that really, as you said, they're good. Like, I know what I'm talking about. I educated myself. I wrote 2 best-selling anatomy books. I know the mechanics of the body, and I'm an expert fitness programmer for corporation, for mass groups, for individuals, athletes, celebrities, and such. But if I package it with fun, then people are actually going to do it, especially during the stresses of the pandemic. It's a new channel, the fitness and slots, but people love it because it's manageable exercises that snowball and change not only their relationship to working out and get more energy and feel better about themselves chemically, but it also changes their relationship to the fridge. Without even intentionally do it, it's going to change your chemical dependency for carbs, sugars, overeating, all of that. It's all pieced together. Visit my YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, you need to do this because, yeah, don't take his humor. Don't underestimate that he's being funny. Trust me, this is serious workout. And you've shown me some exercises too that are incredible. So this guy knows what he's talking about. This is his life career, in addition to being an artist himself. And so doing it with humor, it's also, you know, we know that the chemistry of the brain changes when you're laughing. And so at least, like, even if you're having a hard time, like getting started with the fitness, like whatever, the hormone change is going to uplift your spirit and at least get you going.
The oxygen change. When people are laughing and all of a sudden they take in a deep breath, I can tell you, and this is what I do with some clients, I'll be like, okay, every 6 to 8 breaths while you're exercising, you're going to force in more oxygen. But I don't have to tell the masses when they go and exercise using my programs on fitness and slots on YouTube. I don't have to tell them that because they're going to laugh every 6 to 8 breaths. and they're going to take in more air. Their diaphragm's going to work. Their larynx is going to go down. And with relaxing the back of the neck muscles with laughter and the shoulders, then tension goes away. And then people in the middle of the night are going to find that when they're exercising my way with the fun and laughter, and they're breathing and their body is all relaxed up here, their palms that are gripped like this in their sleep and holding on to stress open up.
Yeah.
And then energetically they sleep.
Yeah. And you know what I find? I wonder if you have something to say about this. I'm kind of squeezing in it, so maybe off topic, but many people, myself too, struggle with posture. I always have to correct myself, you know, because we have the computers and the phone and this and that. Is there something that you can think of that would help us just shift back into the proper posture, you know, through your exercise?
So two things, and this is for different people. Like your people, for OMnium Universe, I would say peacock. As soon as I say peacock, boom, it aligns. You raise up 2 inches, your shoulders are down and back, you tighten up those armpits, your chest is up, and already energetically, we just changed the whole game for our whole day. Not only our body health with being in proper alignment, but as you know, energetically, you enter into a room peacocked, you're going to make a difference, right?
Absolutely, energetically. I love that.
And then for the people that are really in the physical, that I say wrap up, this is a paper towel, but if you wrap up a washcloth and you turn it and you put it in the crook of your armpit, just one, not both, and you hold it lightly there, it's going to give the same peacock effect, but with someone focusing on the actual physical.
Yeah.
You can wash dishes, you can read, you can do everything, but keep that there.
I like this a lot, actually, because like you're physically having to do this, and also like you're like, because those vests and stuff, you're not strengthening the muscles, but this way you are using the muscle to strengthen your posture. So this is fantastic. So just for people to know, like, should they go to your YouTube channel and the Facebook? You do stuff all the time.
Do you know what's consistent is the YouTube right now, and the content on it is so relevant and consistent.
Yeah.
My Facebook, I add in a lot of flavor of myself and what's going on in my personal life. And there's a lot of people that really just need right now consistency, and they can only it's only palatable for one kind of theme. And so I would really encourage people to go to Fitness and Slots. You don't even have to play the slot games, the side play slot games. It's not a necessity. In fact, the series on there, Home Sweat Home, turns every single room into your gym, no equipment necessary. Yeah, I have Gamifying Your Workout, which is for adults that love to game with the slot play, and Healthy Vegas, which transfers over to Healthy World Travel. Like if you are venturing into travel again, that series is really going to help you visually and see, and with great tips from the experts, how you can manage your health and wellness while still getting out.
You know, I think you and I are the perfect match, because you bring the physical component to get to an energetic place, and or the people who follow me or whatever, think energetically and spiritually. They need to bring that energy so that the body heals or nourishes. So it's actually both, you know, and it's actually demonstrated scientifically that if you just smile or if you laugh, you know, like we were saying, then that changes the chemistry of your body. So it's really both ways, and it's a matter of choice or what's available at that time. What is the path of least resistance? Okay, do I want to do something like this so that the body stretches, you know, straightens out, or do I want to just put a piece of paper and then the other way around? So I think it's good to play with both, you know, and so I love that, you know. So I think don't beat yourself up, what I'm saying, that it has to be this meditation, this and that, in order to heal the body, and dismiss completely the component that you're bringing. That sometimes just getting your body in that posture, just laughing, will also help you shift. So that's really good. And also, you and I talk a lot about, and of course in the film, we talk a lot about not just the body as health, but also tapping higher awareness. So, you become bigger than your physical being. You're tapping into the intelligence of the universe. You're bringing information, guidance. You understand your purpose. And so this, to me, takes a little bit of training. That, the fact that, that the two worlds exist, but how do you keep that balance to do it on purpose? Not that the intuition just comes, because it comes. But if I want guidance now, I want to know should I take this trip tomorrow in the middle of COVID? How do I do this? So that on purpose training.
But even on such a human condition of fitness and health, I would love if with the sequel to Superhuman or Superhuman 2, I think that there's experiments that can be done that are really relatable to people's daily life.
Exactly.
Like for instance, and this is stuff for an ongoing conversation, because again, Caroline, I'm not as advanced as the majority of your OMnium universe. I am on my path and I can't identify exactly what's going on, but there's something to be said when I have a client and I care about them so much, and I do a lot of rehabilitation with clients. And when I'm training them, even through Zoom, I will put out my hands when I know that they're exercising is walking or up and down and in a seat, and I will try and hold them in a protective state and a protective place. Yeah, and because there's so much love and there's so much care there that if they're not able to do it for themselves, I try and step in. And I think trainers need to do that. I think all people need to learn how to do that kind of stuff. And there's so much room within movement and exercising that we could explore.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't know you were starting to do this, because fantastic. And like you were saying, in the film, we show, like, for example, when you try to give energy, you visualize that you're putting somebody in a protective bubble. In fact, as a side note, I'd like to say this is something you can do right now with the COVID thing. For those who didn't listen to my last webcast, I talked about just visualizing yourself in a bubble, and then visualizing yourself navigating through, let's say you're going to the store. And so you put yourself in that bubble before you leave, and you visualize yourself going to the store, and everybody has their own bubble. And then you do your shopping, whatever, and you come back. I mean, you're doing all of this in your mind. It takes 2 seconds. And so if you did it right, you're able to visualize all of this and coming back home, and you're still in your bubble. So it means that your visualization is strong enough that you will be energetically protected. And trust me, sometimes you won't be able to do it. You will find that you come back home as you're visualizing it, and the bubble is gone. If this happens, it means that it's going to be gone in the store, on the way back to the store, or on the way to the store. And so then this means don't do it now, like don't go out now, just wait maybe till the evening or whatever. So this is a good exercise to visualize and to use, especially nowadays. But all this to say, this is still not woo-woo stuff. For those who you're putting your hand out, projecting protection. And some people will say, well, how do you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's what the film does. We demonstrate scientifically that you're focusing on water, and then we measure the water, and it's before and after. We demonstrate scientifically that you're moving a piece of paper under vacuum and it moves. We're demonstrating scientifically that you're doing all of this stuff with your mind. So that's why I think the movie is very, very empowering.
There's a hesitant with talking about it because there's an arrogance when people say, like, I'm not saying I'm God. I'm not saying I'm able to be Jesus-like and hold people in that space. I'm saying that whatever it is from a good place and from my heart, I'm able to do that. And it's, I would assume it's helping more than it's hurting.
Yeah, exactly.
So why not do it? And like, and that's the whole point with the pandemic protection that you said, that, you know, that's a very severe situation we're all in. But on a less severe, when you're working out at home, clear that space, do the same thing. The bubble might be a little bigger, but that exercise in the home sweat home, if you're turning your living room into your gym, then create energetically that protective space and get ahead of time, get the best workout you're going to get in, even if it's just a walk. Like we talked about, you can get that six pack from a walk if you put great intent behind it. And the universe is going to align that energy and the flow that needs to happen for you to have a great physique.
Love that. I want to play another clip because, again, to bring back the humor, which is so important, it's at the base of feeling good, of shifting from the weirdness that we're in right now to at least a state of being that, you know, point us in the right direction, at least.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at this one.
Outside of the physical, I believe that there is an energy out there.
I do believe there's a bigger force at play.
Something's happening that's bigger than us.
Beyond the body, once we leave our meat puppet behind, we go back to our actual true existence.
At times I get frustrated that I can't see it, even though I have like these beady Canadian close set eyes that I would hope that are like laser beams to be able to see these things. I can't, and it really frustrates me.
You know, it's like you pull the goggles off the virtual reality and you're home again.
And when you're brought back, you maybe choose what you want to be.
I mean, why not give word to the obvious? Who cares?
Oh my God.
I put myself on reality TV. If people don't know, you know, I have a reputable acting career. I've done great work, but I ventured on to Bravo TV and really had to decide to be vulnerable. And with that comes, I think, this I'm not unfiltered. Like I just can't do it. I can't help it, and I love it. I think that it's fun, and who cares?
You have no idea how healing it is. I'm serious, because you know what people think, you have to be this guru and do all this serious work. And sometimes it's in the simplest, more fun, playful way that you actually heal. I love that. Okay, so let's see, you guys. We have tons of people watching all over. We're talking about the film. Yay! Superhuman, the invisible made visible, about how mind and matter come together. It's very empowering for you to understand what you can do with your mind to master your physical body, your physical reality. And so, so for those who have been listening on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere, if you have questions or comments for myself or for Craig, this is the time. Michael is here with me, who's going to facilitate that. Hey, Michael.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, we're having a blast. Can you tell?
This has been a fascinating conversation, not only about the energetic, but the physical and the interplay between the two.
Yes.
So this has been really cool. We definitely want to welcome everyone watching from the Fitness and Slots YouTube channel, as well as from Craig's YouTube channel as well. So thanks for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, and we have people from Europe, Australia. Here's somebody from Australia, France, Dutchland, from
Brazil? Do we have any Brazil?
Do we have Brazil? I don't know.
Yeah, to the bowl.
Brazil, yeah, but let us know where you're watching from. We truly have a global audience.
Yes.
It's so cool to visualize that all over the world right now, everyone is sort of in the same zone. I do have a question for Craig, if we have time right now.
Yes.
All right, so Louise asked a question from the Superhuman Facebook page. Craig, what would you recommend for people with complex chronic illnesses, autoimmune issues, things like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, and Lyme disease, if they're 80 to 90% bedridden, and where even a 10-minute walk can leave them exhausted for days? Can you offer any advice for people suffering with things like that?
This is from Louise.
Yes.
Do you want to explain, Caroline, what she's talking about, autoimmune disorders, fibromyalgia? Can you just tell people like what that basically is?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's your immune system is fighting itself, and so there's different kinds of autoimmune system diseases. So it's not
Wide spectrum.
yeah, wide spectrum. Sometimes it's like chronic fatigue, like so you literally cannot function more than half an hour a day or something like that. You have to sleep. Sometimes it depends. Sometimes it's a digestive disorder, but regardless, it really affects you to the point where sometimes it's joint really hard. It sounds like she's got fibromyalgia because of that. So there's different range, but it sounds like she's pretty debilitated, and it could be very debilitating.
For sure.
So
And
who's at home, and when you're debilitated, you're depressed because you can't do that much. So what kind of advice do you have for those folks?
well, for starters, Louise, thank you so much for that question. And I got into this industry and transferred from the performing aspect of my career in life to fitness and wellness because my mom was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in the early 2000s. And I'm such a mama's boy that and what's frustrated me for her and countless others that have autoimmune disorders is that doctors for a very long time, and even still to some degree, don't really realize the impact and the severity of the disorder and the pain that it causes and the stress in people's life. So I researched like crazy to understand what my mom can do. Now Louise sounds like she's further along and with her being bedridden and such with limited ability to move. But let me say for anyone out there with autoimmune disorders, there are options like medical hot tubs that keep your body temperature just slightly raised. We're not talking 104, we're talking at 100 or 99 degrees. And there's stretching that you can do in a hot tub that really help open up your meridians, help everything flow, which is key for your health. And also, again, on the stretching theme, I want Louise to be motivated with what can she do? What and when can she do, and how can she connect and fire her brain to her body with bypassing the pain? Because I mean, I'm not going to tell her that she's not going to feel pain, because you are. Any person that experiences fibro, that's not my call. But my call is to identify and connect. How can you move your foot? How can you move your knee? How can you move your hip from your mind, and make that an exercise? Really break it down. And if whatever stretches you can do, I would suggest to do lightly and engagement.
There is some breathing as well that people can do that gives you a burst of energy, at least, because they start to open up the meridian. I don't know how to do it now while I'm sitting down, but basically you tilt your head back and then you straighten your it's a little bit like the what's the phoenix pose in yoga, something similar to that, where you strengthen you stretch the spine, and that brings a lot of oxygen as well, and then you can try to see what other stretches you can do. But basically you're saying whatever she can.
Well, whatever she can, but also take pride in that. Like again, in her head, she's probably wanting the easy fix of do squats or do this, and she's asking from bed. So what I'm going to say is make that workout count, but do what she can and make that empower her, because the empowerment and the confidence, especially with fibromyalgia, I find helps someone manage their pain level and their condition far greater than to get in a dark place of depression. Also singing, I think, is on the same tune that you just said, of breathing. A lot of times if someone puts on a song, and everyone has a voice, so use it. And again, find your voice. And there's lots of singing coaches. Like my friend Diana Kosakova works with people from all aspects of life that want to use their voice for their self-confidence, their self-worth. And she takes her singing knowledge and applies it for people. And from bed, what an amazing relief, and a way of releasing a lot of the held up baggage that she's storing in pain in her body.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. Okay, what else, Michael? What else do you have for Craig or myself?
We have a question for both of you. This comes from Nadia from the Fitness and Slots channel. What would both of you suggest to help someone align with their higher purpose in life? And how can you stay consistent and engaged on that path?
This is a Caroline question because I'm assuming this is Nadia Duggan, who is one of my best friends. Um, she's told me she was going to tune in, and I know she's wanted to connect with you for a long time. So if she can have this moment with you, please take it over. Take center stage.
Oh yeah, woo. Yeah. So I mean, that's really actually the purpose of my work. Actually, is to help people reawaken to their higher consciousness, to their universal consciousness, before they came here. Because we come in, before coming here, we actually have an agreement with ourselves. We don't just show up here and we try to figure it out. It looks that way. That's why it's a shit show sometimes. But truly, from that perspective, before coming in, we come in with a purpose. And so the idea is to let go and to forget about, like, to sever that connection for a short time, just so that we can focus on the physical and have a simple physical experience. But ultimately, we're supposed to remember and reactivate and awaken to what we said we were going to do.
Oh, I love that you said that. Can I just say your other movie that you did where you, yes, remember, that resonated and changed my life.
Yes, I Am the Universe is the movie. It's also on our website, omniummedia.com. But this movie is more, yeah, it's more of an energetic, it's incredible. It's not a story, but it will exactly do this. It's almost like you're here, but you know your day job, your current life is not it. Come on, we're like, there's got to be more. I didn't come to
I felt abandoned before I heard Remember, and that's why it really did affect me when I watched the movie. And all of a sudden, like, so much came in that I couldn't even identify all that it was, and it was like jarring and slap, like all these things. And it's a constant reminder for me, and hopefully Nadia, that you're not abandoned. Remember.
Exactly. And so, but actually we think we're abandoned. We think we severed that connection, but this connection is never severed. So we are still connected with our higher conscious, our universal consciousness before we came in. We just don't know how to maintain this line of communication. And so how do you do this? You do this through everything that I've created, the connecting to source meditation, which is very, very specific. Not all meditation are created equal. I keep saying that. Different meditation calm you down, different meditation, you look inward. This specific meditation does something very specific, which is align your frequency exactly with, you talk about plug yourself back into universal consciousness. This plugs you back into source, which is you before you came in. So you do this meditation. It's only 7 minutes long. You plug yourself in it. It's on our website. It's free of charge, carolinecory.com, or on my YouTube channel. Go to the YouTube channel. And
what's your 2 a.m. meditation? Because this is a reoccurring thing, Caroline. People are waking up in a state of depression and panic and almost like midlife crisis across the boards for everyone. What is the 2 a.m. meditation?
Do the same one. You just change your intent to be specifically that. Because of course I have a library of 600 classes and stuff. So the quickest, but easiest one is do that free one. Like I said, connecting to source. It's on my YouTube channel. And before you start it, be specific. I'm doing the meditation today for me to remember my higher purpose. I'm doing the meditation today so that I can go back to sleep because it's 2 a.m. I'm doing the meditation right now because I want to heal something in my body. So I think this, the more you do this, the more you bring back, because you're replugging yourself into that original frequency. So you're reopening this line of communication and you start to bring back these memories. It's incredible. Now, sometimes you're going to have like Craig. It's like, oh, it's slapping you all around. It's kind of coming at you. Sometimes it's images. Sometimes it's dreams. But it's going to unfold gradually until you have this aha moment. Oh, my God, I remember exactly what I said and how I was going to do it. And then your life starts to change in that way. All right? Cool. And what else, Michael?
That covers all of the questions in chat. I just went through all of the YouTube pages, and I did put the connecting to source guided meditation in the chat. So after the live stream, if anyone wants to check that out, feel free to click on it. It's also in the description, in the video description of the YouTube channel.
Perfect. And again, for those who want to do something fun and laugh while getting some serious exercise going on, go to Craig's Facebook page.
YouTube, the YouTube Fitness and Slots.
Yeah, we're going to put everything in the comments. Yes, it's all going to be in there. If we didn't get to your comment or question, we're going to go back and answer them for sure. But I want everybody to really see this film. Do you agree?
Yes.
Superhuman, the invisible made visible. It's on for rent right now, so it's like there's no excuse. It is entertaining. It is scientific. It is filled with live, real-time experiments, so people get to kind of like go through the experiment themselves, and is incredibly empowering.
Engaging so much. I just love it, Caroline.
And I remember like when we were filming like, let's say the telekinesis, and we'd have an actress or somebody come in, they've never done anything like this before. We give them a crash course, 2 hours, and then all of a sudden they're like moving this object. I remember just the crew, the reaction from the crew. It's like, I want to try this. I want to try the blindfold. If she did it, I can do it. And I think that's what the film does. Because you see so many people from around the world doing all incredible stuff that you feel like, wait, like what am I waiting for? You know, I want to do this for myself. So I'm really hoping people will do that. We're going to put the website superhumanfilm.com in the chat as well. And please.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
I believe too that when people watch the film and they want to experience and experiment with this stuff like I do, it's also building blocks too to open yourself up with that. And your OMnium universe is such a great resource for people. The website, the YouTube, they need to subscribe, turn on notifications, and all of these conversations that you're having, I'm learning so much. So people really need to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and so this is all the training. The movie is for you to get those aha moments and feel empowered. But then if you want to train, yeah, it's OMnium Universe, CarolineCory.com. It's the same website. There's tons of classes and sessions, but we also have lots of free stuff, you guys, on my YouTube channel. It's all free. And we're doing, you know, these clearing sessions, these reprogramming sessions. And we need this more than ever before right now. I mean, we are all stuck in this weird reality, you know, and we need quick.
It's called the shit show.
The shit. We need quick tools to shift energetically. And that's, you can do on my YouTube channel, or shift physically. And that's why you go to Craig Ramsey. I mean, you know, brings you to it's free, and it's aligned, it's fun. And so I'm hoping everybody will tune in. Speaking of which, where's your other half?
Oh, can I go find him?
Yes, I would love to say hi.
Let's get him doing a cameo.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So while Craig is doing this, again, folks, if you have any questions we didn't get to, we're going to go back and look at all the comments. Please email us your questions. Ta-da! Hey, gorgeous.
He doesn't have headphones, so I'm going to interpret everything not through speech, but through modern dance that you say. Okay, Caroline?
The reason why I want to bring on the gorgeous Brandon, first of all, he's a hairstylist to the stars, incredibly talented, and I have to show him how I've been cutting my bangs myself. What do you think? Did I? Oh,
here we go. Okay. Can you hear us? I've been looking at when you're doing your lives, they look great.
Really?
Yeah. I was wondering who was doing them, but if it's you, and they look fantastic.
Oh my God, I'm like, oh, if Brandon could see me now. So you guys, I also wanted to introduce Brandon because what he also does this consciousness, higher consciousness work through his career, and his career is beauty. He's lifestyle and beauty, you know, again, it's hairstyling, all kinds of styling. And so that's what, to me, you guys are a representation of how you can use the energetic and spiritual work in your daily life. It's not like you, Monday through Friday, you're in this one reality just to make money, and then on Saturday, Sunday, you're doing a meditation. You're living it, right, Brandon?
Totally. And especially since it's, I mean, I don't know what you guys talked about, but especially since it's dealing with things that people typically think are ego driven. And so to be able to help people with health and beauty and make it something personal and about themselves, that is, you know, beauty is part of living a higher consciousness on this planet. So yeah,
that's true. You're right, because it's like people think, oh, your body, like fitness and getting your hair done, is a superficial. It is, if you look at it that way, but it's also, isn't it like taking care of you? You know, like, aren't you also kind of, okay, well, I have a physical body. I'm not making this up, you know? And so do I just kind of let it go, or do I pamper it a little bit, or just put the energy of taking care of it? It's more of an honoring to me anyway.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it definitely is honoring who you are. And when you feel good, you know, that elevates you, and you're able to deal with everything else in your life, I think, follows suit when you feel good about who you are.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think also when people come to you, I wonder if, you know, like, it's not healing, like they come to get their hair done or to get like an exercise routine or something, but I bet all kinds of emotional stuff comes out. Am I wrong?
Yeah, there's more than just hair being done in my chair. So the whole experience, I think.
Well, even the follow-up that you get from clients after you see them is much more than just being proud of their haircut.
And, you know, if people knew what I was doing, you know, I take the time with every client to massage their head, to do a neck and back.
Remember, we talked about it.
And the whole time I'm doing that, I'm centering myself, and I'm also hoping for the best for them. So, you know, I am doing a lot of energetic work as well as hair when I'm doing that.
Because he does it for himself, even more so than me. Remember how we talked about that I'm in a household with someone that is very advanced with your work, right?
Oh, I love it.
So he really has it in himself and so consistent. And I think I'm more relatable to the journey and the struggle of it, but he really is solid. And especially from where he came from and the challenges that he's had in his life.
And, you know, this movie, working on this movie with you and being able to be there and meet these scientists and the talent, and, you know, listening to you interact with them. What I love about this is I feel like I've spent a lot of my spiritual journey trying to decipher what is out there and what that looks like and what that is. But this movie feels like it's bringing it back to what I can do here on, you know, in this life, on the earth. And I love that.
Exactly. You're the head hairstylist in the movie, and you were on set, so like pretty much throughout. And so you witness the behind the scenes. Absolutely. And that's why you two are a representation of what this is about, is how you can integrate our consciousness into a daily job. Because some people feel like, oh, I have to quit my day job to go become spiritual or whatever. And that's not how it works. So thanks for saying that.
Yeah,
we really should the next one that you have do a camera behind the scenes too, because the work that you do for people, as we talked about, that expand beyond the Superhuman film, even to the point where if I was running late for set to help out, the idea of creating a parking space that was
Yeah,
we applied it. Like, I got there in time because we were able to do all that kind of work that you teach. So yeah, and Brandon is really great at all that.
You know, even speaking to you, Caroline, about going into a work week where, you know, I do have to put myself at a certain amount of risk in this climate with the pandemic, and just applying some of the
bubble.
The bubble.
We talked about that for sure. The protection.
Yeah, I love. And all of everything that this film deals with is giving me the tools to really expand on that, and I love it. It's amazing.
That's true. You're reminding me of all this stuff that we do when we're hanging out. So we do the bubble. If we feel something energetically off, we're running. We create a parking spot. If we're running to catch a plane, we visualize: did we make it? And on the other side, is this safe? I mean, these are tools that can be applied in your daily life all day long. So, anyway,
going to an appointment or a meeting, and like one of the things that you've taught me to do is set the energy in the room, put myself in the room, and shift before I even get there, and
also be detached if it doesn't work out.
Yeah,
Life is full of disappointments if we look at it as disappointments, and your work has really taught us to go way beyond that. And if we're plugged into source and universal consciousness, it's all going to work out in our favor.
And how to shift in the middle of this madness, like energetically, even you're not out, but it's messing with our head and it's putting us in this weird space. So all of these are really practical tools. And the science, I think it's never been done before in film.
Yeah.
So that's why I really hope people will get to see it. But I want to thank you guys. This was so fun to see you. This was great. This is so fun. So we should do it again. And you guys, for those who, if we didn't get to your questions, we will read the comments and get back to you. And hopefully you will go hang out with Brandon and Craig on their Facebook pages and go see the movie superhumanfilm.com. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having us.
We'll see you very, very soon. Lots of love. Mwah.